Yes, people, your eyes do not deceive you. I am back with content yet again. It's been, if you've been watching the Ram stand for when it started, it's been 2 years, 2 long years since I've made content. But after loads of telling off from Drifty, Callum, Matt, my friends, I am back. I am back making content again. Um, Hopefully, it'll be on a more consistent basis. Well, I say hopefully it will be on a more consistent basis. Um, Thankfully, he's taken a lot of time out to come onto the show. Big up my boy Drifty. Drifty, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, bro. Not too bad. From a football point of view, I'm annoyed, but personal point of view, not too bad. You know,
Yeah,
they bleed into each other though, don't they? So
you'd be surprised. Yeah.
it's difficult
Unfortunately.
to be all right when your football team's playing crap, which sounds weird, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, if you've been in the game as long as you've been in the game, you know that you know that Liverpool and personal life do tend to come
Clash,
with one
yeah,
another.
100%.
Um, it's great when it's going good, but boy, when it's going bad, it is bad, really, really bad.
It is
But we
indeed.
will chop it up. We will chop it up. As you know, we're starting a series that I'll hopefully be doing on a regular basis called Rival Watch. It will be with myself and Drifty. We'll be going through the entire top six, analyzing how they're doing, what are their concerns, what we think they need to improve on, and what we think they're doing pretty poorly on. Um, so Drifty, I'll start us off with the lowest ranked team in the top six as of the 8th of October. Manchester United. And I'm going to put the banner up right here. Man United mediocrity. Now,
Mm.
Man United are sitting in 10th place, have played 10 games with 3 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. One of them being the embarrassing loss against Manchester City. Um, what's your thoughts on Man United this season? Have you been surprised? Are you concerned about them, or are you just like this is what you expect from a pretty poorly run club?
It's funny. They have actually surprised me, but they've surprised me in a way that maybe people won't understand. So they've surprised me because I didn't believe that they could continue to be this bad. And therefore, I am very surprised. So I know that sounds stupid. It's like, well, but you knew they were rubbish, so why are you surprised they're still rubbish? Bro, I genuinely didn't think they'd be this rubbish for this long. I thought at some point Amram's going to get it right to the point where they at least improve a bit. Do you get what I mean? And they become a team where you're like, oh, you got Man United this weekend. Okay. You know, like that kind of feeling.
Yeah, yeah,
And they just haven't. They have been absolutely abysmal. Like they have been abysmal. I think the only performance that they've had this season that was even remotely okay was the win over Chelsea. And that took Chelsea going down to 10 men to kind of create that buzz, you know what I mean, around it. They did play decent in the first opening game against Arsenal as well, to their credit. So maybe they're a team who can still kind of get themselves up for the big games, which they kind of even did last year. And even under Ten Hag, to be fair, they still kind of did get themselves up for like Liverpool and City and Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Even when they were in the depths of hell. So maybe that is just a trait of them being a big club that there's still a possibility now and again they'll get themselves up for that big match. Which watch they're probably going to turn into prime Barcelona for 90 minutes when we play them after the international break. Then they go back to being shocking again afterwards. But yeah, I'm really shocked that they've been this bad for this long. Like when I'm watching Burnley go to Old Trafford and be robbed, really. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you go back and look at that Burnley game, like, but the refereeing decisions got Man U over the line in that game. And then you
yeah,
look at the
yeah.
Brentford game, and Brentford absolutely schooled Man United. And you're looking at it, and you're thinking, "Nah, this is wild." I
Mm.
dreamt of days like this as a teenager, but like, this is wild, bro. That Man United is struggling with Brentford and Bournemouth. and you know what I mean, and Burnley, and I'm talking about like struggle. I don't mean struggle like you're the better team and you had an off day. I mean you're struggling to even get to the level of that team, and that team ain't even great. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a bit of a mad one for Man U, man.
Do you think it's a mentality issue? Because I've been on multiple streams with multiple YouTubers, United
Mm,
fans, rival fans. They've all said exactly the same thing. When it comes to the big teams, there's a different United. There's the hunger, there's a desire, there's the will to go out and dominate games. I don't mean win games, I mean dominate. Either
mm,
we have the desire to win the ball off you, we defend for our lives, and we'll do our utmost to get a goal in this game or get more than 2 goals in this game. Do
mm.
you think that's is a worrying trend because you only play the big teams about 6 times? Sorry, 12
Yeah,
times a season.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't really know who the mentality problem is with more. Like I know people always put a lot of effort, emphasis on a manager, right? And they'll be like the manager's the one who's got to instill it. And to be fair, that probably is the truth overall. But when you really look at the amount of people in the squad that are experienced, they shouldn't need the manager to get them up for games. Even the players who you don't necessarily rate highly, like a Delit or a Maguire or a Mazwari or Casemiro and Ugarte. Like, even if you don't think that they're great players in their own right, talent wise, they're still very experienced international players that shouldn't be needed to be told, you get up for today, please? Like, you got a match today. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of difficult. And the crazy thing is, I don't want to just say it's the ownership because the ownership ain't the ones in the changing room and the owners ain't the ones on the training pitch. But they've changed managers and they've changed players and nothing's changed. So you have to keep looking at the board, right? Like,
Mm.
but then you think to yourself, what is it? Because the board, to their credit, the board hire people that everybody else felt were good hires. Like, we actually can't look at anybody who's been a Man United manager and go, what a terrible decision that was. Because at the time, it looked like a good decision. Do you know what I mean? You can even go back to when they got rid of Oli and what's his name took over until the end of the season. Um, what's the German?
Ranić.
Ranić. But Ranić was an experienced, well-touted, well-respected coach. Do you know what I mean? So even that
Mm.
appointment, like Oli, nobody really thought Oli was a good manager, but because he started like a house on fire, that was the reason why he got the job. And then you look at Mourinho, whether he's toxic or not, he's a winner. You look at Van Gaal, winner. Ten Hag before Man United, winner. Amorim before Man United, winner. You don't look at any of those managers before they've had their time at Man U and go, what a terrible appointment that was. You only
Mm.
think about it afterwards because the virus has seeped in and they've just looked terrible for the whole time they've been there. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. Is it the board? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but there's definitely a virus in Old Trafford, and long may it continue, my bro.
I understand that. I understand that. And obviously, we're speaking on the manager. We'll get to him. Ruben Amorim. I'm going to phrase this question quite weirdly. Do you think Ruben Amorim has the cojones and the personality to take Man United back? And if he
I
doesn't,
think
is there anyone in the world that has that?
I think he's got one thing that you didn't ask, self-belief. I think he's got the belief he can.
Mhm.
I think he believes I'm the guy and I can do it. If that's a reality or delusion is the part that you then have to look at afterwards, because I think his stubbornness is getting in his way. I've never I don't care how much you have a philosophy and how much you have a way that you want to play. If you're a good manager, you should have one or two other little bits of weaponry in your arsenal. That means that if it ain't working, you can flip the switch a little. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to
Mm.
go dramatically all the way to the other end of the scale, but if you want to, like, he's really gonna die on this 3-4-3 hill, innit? Like, he's like,
Mm.
I don't care. I'm dying on this hill.
That's his
I
style.
don't, yeah,
That's him.
but he should be able to switch it up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, what
Mm.
you're telling me, you can't go to a little 4-2-3-1 randomly in a game. You know what I mean? When you might need it, or like, because in my opinion, no matter how successful you might have been at a particular club playing that way, I don't think you can be considered a good manager if you don't have more than one formation. If you literally don't have more than one formation that you can implement, then I don't think you can be considered a top manager. I don't. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a
I,
weird one.
I got a question that, right? Could you say the same thing with someone like Mikel Arteta or even Pep Guardiola to an extent? Because they have a system, they have a certain way of playing football, and they're quite strong on their beliefs and their laurels.
I know, but both managers have played about 7 different systems in the time they've been at both clubs. So like they might stick with it for like a long period of time, but then if they realize it's not working, they do think, okay, let me try and do something a little different. Do you know what I mean? They're not like hell bent on it just being this one way and that, do you know what I mean? This way or the highway. Whereas Amarim is just like, bro, he hasn't even, not even during a game has he tried to like, the only thing he'll do is just throw Maguire up front and say, I'll cause some chaos at the end or something random like that. But like he doesn't tactically try to change anything during the game. And he stood in the interview and he said to us, I'm a man of principles and I'm going to stand on those principles. No, I'm not changing because you lot told me to. This is the way I play. You got to like it or you got to lump it. Like he literally did it in the press conference and we were all like, oh, that's a bit weird. Talk about toxic. You know what I mean? So I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. Obviously with Amarim, in a lot of people's minds, they don't see him as the guy to take him forward. Is there anyone available out there that is good enough or has the ability to take Man United back to where they want to be, or some say belong?
Ah, that's a tough one. There are a few people who I think might be able to a degree where I wouldn't want that player to go, that manager to go there just in case. So for example, Glasner, I wouldn't want him to go there just in case because he is a winner and he's a very good coach. Um, so I wouldn't want it to be a they finally get it right moment. Do you know what I mean with him? Um, I think there's a possibility if they got Areola that he could possibly do something for them. He's a good manager.
The Bournemouth
I'm
manager, right?
Yeah, Bournemouth manager. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
very very happy that they didn't get Flick because I think he's got the character that he could possibly turn it around at Man United. And he
Mhm.
plays an attacking philosophy of football, which means that it might get them exposed, but I think it would probably still win them more games than they don't because they have good attacking players.
Right.
If you look at the Man United team after the window, it is probably more the midfield that is the worst part of their team. Like I don't think their defense is terrible, and I think their attack has got some very good individuals. It's more their midfield that's a bit of an issue. But if they were playing front-footed football rather than whatever the hell they're trying to do, then I think they'd probably still win more games than they wouldn't.
Mm.
Um, and then you've probably just got like the obvious ones like a Klopp or a Guardiola who I think are good enough that they'll make any team good no matter where they go because they take their personality with them. And their personality normally gets rid of whatever is going on at that club. And do you know what I mean? And not that either of them have ever walked into a club as toxic as Man U, but they've got that infectious winning personality that you can't imagine a Klopp or a Guardiola failing at Man U. Maybe not getting to the point where they win the league, but they definitely get Man United back to being a respectable club again and winning
Mm.
games and do you know what I mean? And that kind of thing. So
Mm.
yeah, I guess out of the youngers, I say Glasner, Areola, and then yeah, some of the old schoolers would probably be able to do it. But again, we thought that when Mourinho went there, like you know what I mean. I know Mourinho
Yeah.
was at the tail end of his career, but Mourinho is a winner. It didn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They
I
have
don't know.
literally tried at every avenue to go. They went through the Mourinho route. it didn't work. Well, it worked to an extent. They got a Europa League and they obviously finished
Yeah.
second to the
He did win
Centurion.
3 trophies, to be fair to
Yeah.
him.
Then you got Ollie. They went through the Ollie route, which I think, if you're looking back on it now, that was probably the most prosperous time for you United fans in general. Like,
When
I think
they
that was,
played the best attacking football under Oli,
yeah.
surprised.
I think that COVID season 2021, they were playing really good football. They were dominating teams at times, which you wouldn't associate with that team at all. But they were playing good football. They were getting the best out of Pogba. Bruno was still doing his thing, just joined the team, still keeping up that output. Like, everything was going well for them, but it just came crashing down when that transfer window happened, where none of the signings really worked out. Ten Hag, a bit of the same, started really well, but then it just went badly afterwards. The thing again, it's the transfer windows. The transfer windows keep killing them every single time. It's like they take one step forward, then take 3 steps back in the next transfer window. Like, some of the signings that they've made just didn't work. Now with Ruben Amorim, who's basically trying to steady the ship and try and fix things, it's just nothing's really working. I don't know who else they can go to now. Like, who else is there that can take them, because they've taken every single avenue. Like, it's very difficult to say, and obviously get the thoughts of the people as well. Big up everyone that's in the chat right now. Big up Armin Singh. Big up Football Gossiper. I know Football Gossiper has been quite a while since I've been streaming. It'll be consistent from now on, I promise you. Big up Tyro Gunner in the chat. Armin thinks, same. I thought Amorim was going to be the one, to be honest. He had it all in Portugal, but I don't know if the investment has been good enough from the owners. What do you think, Drifty? The owners, the signings that they've made, the transfers, do you think that they were good enough, or was it just a bit mediocre?
I think they were good signings. I just don't think that their recruitment was right. Like, if you look at the players they bought as individuals, you don't really think any of them are bad purchases. But then when you look at what they needed, I definitely think they went down the wrong route in terms of, do you know what I mean? Like, for me personally, I know this might sound like a bit stupid to say it, but because they needed a striker, I think they would have been better off trying to give Højlund one more season and buy a really good midfielder rather than buying a potential that still cost them over 70 mil in Sesko to be the new forward and leaving that midfield as it was. Everybody could. There isn't one person on the planet that felt like Man United's midfield was good. Not one person.
Oh, but Drifty, Højlund was bad though. He was not good for United. He was really
No,
bad.
he wasn't. But do you get what I mean? Like, you can think to yourself, all right, maybe if he's got Acuna and he's got an Embuemo who are going to be supplying him, there's more chance that he can get goals than there are that Ugarte and Casemiro can improve on their performances in mid. Do you get what I mean? Like, that was never happening in any world. There was no world we're living in where Ugarte, Casemiro, and anyone else who they try and play in that middle were ever going to be good enough to get Man United back playing and dominating games. They needed to go and buy probably 2 or 3 new midfielders. And if anything, bro, they could have tried to get like a cheap, like, I'm going to be honest with you, Man United aren't in any place to bargain or to like look down on anything. If I was the Man United board, I'd have been thinking, right, even if we don't think Højlund is good enough, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and get a Jonathan David on a free. And we'll bring that player in and we'll have him for a few years and we'll see what happens. Yes, he's not the normal level we buy, but he's not rubbish. Jonathan David isn't a rubbish player. So for Man United to get him for free, to be able to then, put that investment into the midfield would have made way more sense, right? Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there might have been 1 or 2 other players on the free market. Do you know what I mean? That would have been like, all right, maybe take a chance on this guy on the free. Go and put that money in the midfield. Go and buy 2 50 million pound midfielders. Do you know what I mean? Who suits the way Amorim wants to play if we're going to keep Amorim in charge. But they didn't. They just went very top heavy, bought 3 players for their forward line that all were in excess of 60 mil each, and just didn't touch the midfield at all. And I'm like, you really thought Kobe Mainu, Ugarte, and Casemiro, and then putting Bruno Fernandes back into a pivot was going to be a good idea for you to have a good overall 38-game season? No. How can you're not even a good manager for even believing that just off rip? Do you know what I mean? Like, I can tell you're not a good manager just from you telling me that those four options in midfield can get you up the table.
Huh.
Like, it's terrible, bro. So yeah, bro. I don't think it was the players they bought because the players are bad. I just think they bought wrong for what they needed.
Mm, I hear that, but I mean, some of the signings, obviously, United fans were glazing over Matthias de Ligt, right? When he first signed him, and I was like, this is not the de Ligt that was of Ajax. This is not the de
Mm,
Ligt that was the one of the well, I would say one of the best. He was the best young centre back that was coming through at the time.
mm,
A lot has changed from then until now. Like it's been 6 years, well, 5 years when they signed him, and it's just the guy hasn't progressed properly when he was at Juventus. At Bayern Munich, he didn't look that great, and they saw him as the potential future. And if they sold him off to United, then they didn't see anything with him.
yeah.
Like, would you say signings like that, where on paper it sounds nice, but in terms of actually fitting with what they need stylistically or even character-wise,
Mm.
is just why it doesn't make any sense for them.
Yeah, they don't make any purchases really, do they, with any true thought process. They more just buy who they think the name is.
Mm.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't know who the hell Sesko was before the summer. And then they just saw a lot of fuss around him and thought, let's have a look at this. Like,
Drifty.
it doesn't seem like they scout, bro. It just seems like they just go and buy whoever's good or whoever's being spoken about.
I don't know about that. I think Sesko had a lot of talk about him prior to that. I think ever since he was at Salzburg, he was very highly rated. But it's just I hear it and I don't hear it. Like I hear it when you say Hoyland, maybe give him another season, give him the proper utensils that is needed to like actually prove himself at the highest level. But I'm like, the way he was playing, getting into the right positions, sometimes scuffing shots, missing chances, link up play wasn't even there, looking very weak at times for a player of his physicality. It's just, I don't know, man. I just sometimes just when things don't work out, you want to cash out as quick as possible, don't you? And just get as
Mm.
much profit as possible as you possibly can. But I don't know. It's a weird one with United. I think there's a lot of expectations about them, but you're gonna have to get someone that's of the level, like Klopp level. And to be honest, there's no one like that out there. Like you can say Hansi Flick, but has he really rebuilt a team? Because he changed the culture at Bayern Munich, changed it back to what it was, but he didn't really rebuild that team like
Mm.
what Klopp did with Dortmund and with Liverpool. Even to an
Mm.
extent, Wenger did it to an extent. He actually changed the entire culture of Arsenal.
Mm.
Like you need someone of that level. I don't see anyone doing that. I don't.
Well, the only people that are out there that you would think could do that would be the people who are kind of like past their best now, in it, like the Mourinhos and the Contes,
Mm,
where, but they're not at their best anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, but when
mm,
they're in their peak, like you saw what Conte did at Juve, when they were in the depths of hell, before he came in, and then he the way he changed them around. Mourinho, what he did at Inter Milan, what he did at Chelsea. Like when they were in their prime, they were managers who came in and changed the whole culture of the team and set them on the right path. So yeah, there ain't really no one like that around anymore, is there? Really?
no, I just don't see it. I think the caliber of managers that have proven that it's so hard to find. Either they're at the elite clubs like your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, your Bayern. Well, I won't say Bayerns, but your
Mm,
Liverpools, your Arsenals potentially. They're already not available. So it's going to be difficult for United. Obviously, they got us next in the Premier League, but we'll have a little section on that for Liverpool when we get later down the show. But moving on from Man United, I want to talk about this club because for me, I think a lot of rival fans are seriously downplaying how good these guys are, and that's Tottenham. I myself have been thoroughly impressed with the way Thomas Frank has come into Tottenham, the way that they got them playing football.
mm,
Um, right now they're seeing themselves third in the league with 4 wins and 2 draws and a
Yep.
loss. Kudus is cooking. Simmons is cooking. Romero's starting to look like the guy that's shown that promise ever since he was at Atlanta. They are on a flying start. You got to keep it a buck, and not many people are talking about it, Drift. I want to hear your thoughts on this as well. Do you agree, or
Yeah,
am I being a bit hyperbolic?
no, not really. I mean, I don't necessarily think the football's been scintillating, but the results have been really good. And that Bournemouth defeat isn't even that bad when you think about how well Bournemouth are playing. Because on paper, you'd think, oh my God, you lost at home to Bournemouth. But Bournemouth are fourth in the league. Bournemouth have actually been playing very well this season. Arguably got player of the year in player of the season so far in Semenyo,
Yeah,
balling
that's
out.
right.
So like they have impressed me. They look a lot more structured, which I knew would happen under Thomas anyway.
Mm.
They look more potent up front. And you know what? You got to give them credit for as well. That they're doing this without 3 of their big players as well. I know people don't like to use
Speak on it, Drift.
people
Speak on
think you
it.
can't use the injury thing or whatever, but like I'm being like Kulizeski, Madison, and Solanke are big investments, and they are their better attack. Before they brought in Simmons and Kudos, they were their best attacking players. And he's been doing it without any of them. And I'll be honest with you, I definitely know Thomas Frank gets Solanke to be a 15 to 20 goal season striker.
Oh yeah,
Because I saw him do it with Wissa, I saw him do it with Embuemo, and I saw him do it with what's his name? Tony. So I know he's capable of turning a good striker into a 20 goal a season striker. And Solanke's a good striker. Do you know what I mean? He might not be elite, but he's good. So if he had him back playing, I reckon he'd be in and amongst the goals as well. And Kulusevski was Tottenham's best player last season. That's a big loss that they haven't had Kulusevski for how many months. He was balling out last season. Kulusevski was one of the better players in the league last year.
bro. It says a lot. It says a lot when they're playing incredibly well going forward. Obviously with Kudus and Simmons, but like you said, Kulusevski was carrying that attack last season. The carry job that he was doing last season in Europa League, in the Premier League as well. Obviously, they finished 17th in the Premier League last season, which is not great, but that's because a lot of factors. Obviously, they prioritized Europa League. Some of the injuries that they got was kind of mad. But Kulusevski last season was, if you played for a better team, a lot more people would have spoken about Kulusevski. If he played for like a Bournemouth, if he played for Arsenal, if he played for Liverpool, a lot of people would have spoken very, very highly about him. And I think it's mad that they're doing this without him. One of the main things that people criticize is sometimes their ability to get goals at times against the smaller teams. But they're doing this without Solanke, like you said. Like Solanke, let's not get it twisted. His last season for Bournemouth, he was getting 20 goals.
Yeah.
These are.
I mean, even last year under Postecoglou, he wasn't great, but I think he still got double figures. I think.
So I think Solanke last season. Obviously, he wasn't consistently playing last season, but
he got injured quite a bit.
He played 27 games last season. Obviously, some of them were substitute appearances. He got 9 goals and 3 assists. Which is not bad. Which is not bad for a guy that got injured and didn't play that much. In the Europa League, obviously, the form was a little bit better. He got 5 goals and 4 assists in 13 games. So 9 GA in 13, which isn't too bad as well. So
let's say if you think about all competitions, then that means he got 22 GA.
Yeah.
22 GA ain't bad, man. You know what I mean? Like, I know it ain't amazing, but that ain't bad. You can't look at a striker with 22 GA and go, oh, he was rubbish or he didn't contribute anything this season. You'd be like, no, that is a pretty good, and they won the Europa League. So then 5 goals in the Europa League were obviously helpful to a trophy. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I think if Thomas Frank's got it, and again, I know he's injury prone, but if Maddison is on it, Maddison is such a game winner. And for them to not have Maddison as well, can you imagine if they were able to have Maddison in the 10 now? And then that means that Simmons could be a little bit more advanced. It would be, there'd be a lot more of a, you know what I mean? There'd be able to be a lot more attacking, I mean, they haven't even been able to play Mwani, if I'm not mistaken.
Kolo Mwani, yeah.
Like he got injured, right?
I think so. I
If
didn't
I'm not
see him
mistaken,
play.
I think he's only made like one sub appearance, I think, and then he got injured.
Yeah, and to be fair, to get him a player like Mawani on loan, it's like let's not get it twisted. He's still a
That's a
quality
coup for a
player.
team like
Yeah,
Tottenham. I can't lie.
he's gonna be such an asset. They've just their second team. They've slightly improved their second team as well, which is also the scary bit. If
Yeah,
you're a rival of the top four teams, obviously we'll get on to the others. Tottenham are going to be a problem this season. The way they play against top teams is going to be an issue because Thomas Frank
yeah.
knows how to operate against the top teams.
You know what? I almost wish that Tottenham and Arsenal weren't North London rivals for what that game means, because I would be very confident Tottenham could take 3 to 4 points off of Arsenal this season in terms of like how well they play.
Is
But
it because
because
of
that
Thomas
game's a
Frank?
rivalry, it always changes things, and Tottenham don't seem to have the mentality a lot in that
Mm.
game. I don't know why. Arsenal seem to always be
But
better winners mentality wise.
do you think Tottenham can change that though?
Maybe,
No, sorry, not
maybe.
Tottenham. Sorry, Thomas Frank can change that.
Yeah, maybe. I know Thomas Frank had a decent record against Arsenal as Brentford manager, so
Mm.
possibly.
Yeah,
To be
because
fair, I think Thomas Frank had a good record against all the top teams at Brentford, didn't he? When you think about it, he
at
beat Pep
home,
Guardiola two or
yeah,
three times.
at home, their record at home against top six teams was very good. For a
Yeah,
team
man, it
that
was good.
was mid table, it's very good. He was Mikel Arteta's kryptonite when he was at Brentford because for some reason Arteta just couldn't.
Mm.
I think a couple of results were a bit fortuitous at home, but away from home they've always given Arsenal a game. They've always made them struggle. They had to fight to get a point, let alone 3 points. So I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying. Just on a quick comments thing, obviously going back to the Ruben Amorim stuff, saying that he shouldn't be safe though. That's ridiculous from the board. Saying that Amorim shouldn't think that his job is safe. He has to really. He's under a lot of pressure, given the fact that
Yeah,
he
he
has.
has to be under pressure. There's
Yeah,
no way his job can be safe. No way.
yeah, and I think he's the worst. He has the worst record out of any manager in United history. No.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah,
Like his
that's
win ratio is the lowest or something like that.
yeah. That's one record you do not want to have on your head. That's
Have you noticed every manager that goes there keeps breaking new records? So Ollie was breaking records, then Ragnick broke records, then Ten Hag broke records. Now Amrit, so it's like they're getting worse and worse and worse and worse every time they. Do you know what I mean? Because
as time goes on.
why do these managers always have some bad records you wouldn't want on your CV? Like all of those managers have broken a record for the wrong reason. So
Exactly.
like, you know what I mean? It's mad.
Exactly. It's just I don't see how they can get any better now. I really don't. It might have to take divine intervention. I swear to God. Speaking of divine intervention, Football Gospel here says, Drift, they may need G Nev to do a grobbler and pee on the posts.
Well, who's the one who put a curse on them though? I don't know who put the curse on Man U. You know what I mean? We'll have to find out who put that curse.
Yeah. Whoever did that is probably one of the greatest human beings in the history of human beings. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke, obviously. But as a Liverpool fan, if there is a curse on Man United, after the amount of pain they given me in my
Bro, we had a
childhood.
curse for 30 years on
Oh yeah.
winning the league. So
Oh
like, if
yeah.
there's a curse on Man United for 30 years, I don't give a damn. We had to go through 30 years without winning the title because of a curse, bro. So
Make it
you
50
know what I'm
years.
saying?
Make it 50 years. Just for them,
Yeah.
make it 50 years. All the referee decisions as well, man. All the
On
referee.
Tottenham, quickly before you move on as well, that team is primed and ready for a new ownership, which the rumors are they might get to come in and take that team to the next level. So we'll have to watch that space, bro. Tottenham might actually be able to do what Newcastle couldn't because Tottenham actually have income. So if they've got owners willing to spend, they make enough money to justify the expenditure, bro. So
Oh, Drifty, why are you making me even more nervous
keep
now,
an eye
man?
on this space, bro. If they get Middle East investment or like one
That's
of
the
the other
rumors,
billion,
bro. That's the rumors. It's
yeah,
Qatar.
yeah,
Qatari
bro. I'm
rumors.
telling you, bro. They've got the income to actually be able to sustain a high level of, you know what I mean. So yeah, we better be careful. Tottenham might become the new it, bro.
No, bro, don't want to. No, it's just going to be a bigger problem, man.
The
Really,
only
really is.
reason I'm not angry about it happening is because it will piss off the people I hate the most. So,
Mm, exactly.
you
Yeah.
know,
True. I want to go on that squad real quickly because I don't think people talk about it enough. This is their team that they played against Brighton. And I'm trying to get the one for Wolves, but just not letting me not letting me put it up for some reason. No, I've got the Wolves up. Got the Wolves one right here. So the starting 11 was Vicario, Spence, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogi, Palhinha, Bentancur, Kudus, Bergval, Simmons, and Richarlison. Given the fact they still have Solanke to come in, they've got Kulusevski still to come in. How would you rate that starting 11, Drift, compared to all the other top
I
teams?
would actually probably drop out Benton Core, put Sarr in there. I think he's a wicked midfielder. I
Yeah, he
like
was on
him.
the bench. He was. I think it was Champions League. That's why he didn't play. He didn't play.
Okay,
Start that
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good first 11. Vicario could be upgraded on, of course, but he's not terrible. He's still a decent goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I think Van de Ven and Romero's a good centre back pairing. A lot of people were dissing them last season, and I just think it was Postecoglou. I think as individuals, I think they're both good defenders.
Mm.
Spence is an absolute beast of a right and left back.
Yeah.
Um, he's a wicked player.
By the way, Pedro
Porro,
Porro. Yeah.
Pedro Porro, one of the best right backs in the league, definitely. Um, Udogi, very good young talent. Yeah, man, Paulina, that was an inspired loan move. I think that's exactly what they needed. A player
Another
who
loan.
only cares about defending.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I like it. Yeah, and you know what? Getting Simmons and Kudos, you've actually got to step back for a second and deep it and think Tottenham did really well to acquire both of those players, especially when you think about the caliber of teams that were after them as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Well, they
heard Bayern
hijacked.
Munich wanted Kudos,
Mm.
Chelsea
Well,
wanted Simmons.
well, they
Like,
hijacked that deal, Drift. They hijacked it.
yeah, they
He
did.
got.
The Simmons one, they
Yeah.
actually did for real. And to be honest with you, bro, I probably think they would have got Eze over the line if Eze wasn't a natural Arsenal fan.
Mm.
Like, I actually think that if Eze supported like Man United or someone who was like completely irrelevant to both teams, I reckon that Tottenham deal gets done and Eze's a Tottenham player.
Yeah.
So they nearly almost even pulled that off. You know what I mean? And again, it depends which way you look at it. Some people will say Kudos is better than Eze. Like, it just depends. So like, they still sign players of a top level. I reckon around Europe, people will say that Simmons is better than Eze as well. It's all opinions, you know what I mean? What do you think? But like, they signed very good players, bro. So credit to
Exactly.
them, man.
Exactly, man. And I think also that I'm looking at that bench right now. That obviously it's Mattis Tell. I still think there's a player in Mattis Tell. I really do. I think I think there's some. If Frank can get something out of him, he's going to be a big problem for the league.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with him, but I wouldn't write him off because he's young. But yeah, he hasn't impressed me. But you never know, for real. Frank might be able to do something.
Brennan Johnson, obviously, he's a functional player. I wouldn't say he's a great player, but he's functional. He can be an asset, especially.
Do you know what
in
he
the
is? Brennan
counter-attack.
Johnson is a great squad player.
Mm.
If he is your backup, you can't moan. You can't moan. If
Oh,
he's
yeah.
your backup, do you know what I mean? Because he gets goals, he's very direct, and he causes problems.
Exactly. And I think that goes the same for Odegaard as well. I think you could put Mattis Tell, Johnson, and Odegaard all in the same category. They're not great players, but they're assets, and they can be very good assets for a team. And I think, especially off the bench, and when you're chasing a game or winning a game, and you're looking to see out the game, and you need a counter attack, having either of those two players on the pitch is just an absolute bonus. It really is. Kevin Danso is a backup centre back who's very, very experienced centre back as well. Archie Gray, we saw what he was out of position at centre back. He's naturally
He's
a
a good
midfielder.
talent.
He's a good talent. Obviously, like you said, Drift, Pat Matasar is still in that team. Like, he came on as well. So there's quality, man. There's quality. And I think people aren't really talking about it. Personally, for me, I had Tottenham to finish fourth this season.
I had them in my top 5 for sure, and I'm keeping them there. I think they definitely get top 5. They're in the chat. They'll get Champions League football. I think.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think for me, again, it's going to be top 5. I think England just going to do well in Europe this season. It will come back to the top 5 teams that does well this season. But for me, I think they're assuring for top 4 for me. That team is just too good. And they got a good manager as well, who I rate very highly.
The only reason why top 4, I'm a little bit skeptical of saying top 4 is because I don't think they finish higher than Chelsea or City or Arsenal.
We'll get to it then, Drift. We'll get to it. Seeing as though you mentioned about one of those 3 teams, are Chelsea back?
It depends back where from, because they were never anywhere to start with. They're a cup team, aren't they, Chelsea? And they've been a cup team for a while now. And there's nothing wrong with being a cup team because they've won the Champions League and the World Club Cup. So I'm sure they don't give a damn that they're a cup team. But in terms of the league, yeah, I don't know if I'll say they're back. And I mean, we got to be honest as well. That question will be put into the universe based on the fact that they beat Liverpool. But it's not difficult to beat Liverpool in the current form we're in. We're all over the place. Chelsea didn't even need to be good to win that game. We almost beat ourselves, and I'm not even trying to take like anything away from Palace and Chelsea getting those wins. But we watched those games, and we know we beat ourselves. We weren't playing good football, and we just got outplayed by better teams. We were all over the place, and it was just coming. It was obvious. You could just tell we weren't going to win. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how much you can judge Chelsea on beating Liverpool, but they have good players. I think Maresca is a good manager. I don't think he's amazing, but I do think he's a good manager. And they do have some good players. So it'll be interesting. You know what I mean?
So, obviously, I said that Tottenham will finish 4th. The team that I said that will finish 5th is Chelsea. That's my hot take. I think people are underestimating how much of an effect the Club World Cup will have on this team.
When it comes to the end of the season and the fatigue kicks in and stuff,
bro. I think the injuries have already started to catch up with Chelsea already. They've already hit. I think majority of their centre backs are out. The main player, the main talisman, Cole Palmer, is out as well. It's just look, their summer transfer window flattered to deceive for me. Like you sign Jamie Bino Gittins, have no problem with that as backup, yeah. But then you go on and sign Garnacho, who, well, to be fair, he had a good game against us, but I think again, like you said, Drifty, it was down to our foolishness and our stupidness to let him do that. But
Chelsea are doing a lot of business with other big clubs. I find it incredibly strange.
I find it annoying.
If you think about the fact that between City, Man U, and Arsenal, Chelsea have signed about 5 players or sold maybe 3 or 4 players. Do you know what I mean? Like there's probably somewhere between about 7 to 10 players have exchanged hands between Chelsea, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Chelsea, Man United in the last 5 years. And they're like, why are you doing business with the rivals? Chelsea are a weird club, bro. They're a very weird club. I don't get it. I really don't get why. And it kind of maybe speaks to the fact that they're not necessarily a big club historically. So people don't ever feel a rivalry with them because why have they done 3 pieces of business with Man U that I can think of? So Sancho, Garnacho, and Mount. Then Arsenal, we know they're always doing fucking business with Arsenal. Every season they do something with Arsenal. And then with Man City, they took Sterling. And it's like, why do you lot keep doing business with the rivals?
Well, the Arsenal one is the Arsenal one's a bit weird because usually when it comes to the history of Chelsea and Arsenal business, Chelsea gives them their scraps. Like they gave last time I remember, they gave Arsenal William Gallas. Wasn't that in line with Ashley Cole going the other way to Stamford Bridge, wasn't it? That deal.
No. Gallas would have been. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think that did happen at the same time. You're right. Yeah. So
that's
it did.
That's
because I was trying to think. Did Gallas play with Ashley Cole? Because for some reason I feel like he did, but you might be right though.
And then Petr Cech stands out for me as well. Like Petr Cech, who was past it at that point. This wasn't the Cech that we knew of 2005 to 2011, where he was just dominating. He was
definitely down. Yeah. I mean, Willian was done
David
by then.
Luiz.
David Luiz, he was done by then. It was an absolute masterstroke from Chelsea to get Arsenal to pay 100 grand a week for Sterling for a year to do nothing.
Literally.
Like
And
that was at the first I thought they were doing some cuck business, but then I realized it was a stroke of genius, bro. It's like
exactly, yeah.
so like
Don't
Arsenal just love getting Chelsea players. It's weird, bro.
Kai Havertz as well. I
Oh
remember
yeah. No, how did I
Lewis.
forget? And now this season with Wake,
Yeah,
like they just love doing business with other clubs
I
in
feel
in
like
in, in rivals. It's
I, f-
weird.
I feel like every year Lewis is doing like a celebration stream saying that we done Arsenal again. I think we had it 2 years ago with Kai Havertz, and now we're having it this year with Madueke. I just feel like every time, obviously, Madueke has done decently so far. But again, Chelsea fans are telling me this is what he always does. He flatters to deceive. He doesn't have any end product. He's good at dribbling past the man, but passes it to no one. No end
Mm.
product. Like that's him. That's why we sold him, because he wasn't good enough for us. So again, it remains to be seen. Maybe someone like Madueke may become a success. Havertz may regain that form that we saw at Leverkusen and become one of the best centre attacking midfielders. Personally, I don't see it. But we're talking about businesses that they do with Arsenal. I've got to question some of the businesses this season, right? So I'm going to give you the list, right? So they signed Penders, the goalkeeper from Genk. They signed Asugo, Liam Delap, Mamadou Sarr, Kendry, Joao Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Jorel Hato, Esteval. Obviously, Esteval was pre-agreed. Alejandro Garnacho, and Samuel Smith from Strasbourg, who I don't think we've seen him play this season
No.
or seen him on
Wasn't
the pitch.
Saad, did they buy him last summer and then
I
loan
think
him
that
out
might
or
be.
something?
I think that might be a pre-agreement.
Yeah.
Pre-agreement thing. Oh
I
no, but
mean,
he's
I'm
gone.
not
He's
gonna
gone
lie,
back
bro.
on loan. Drift. He's gone back on loan
Okay,
to
yeah, yeah.
Strasbourg. Yeah, but
I personally think Pedro was the only one of those signings that's actually a good player. Like, as in, like, if you're trying to win the league, that player would be good enough to help you get there. Other than
okay.
Pedro, I mean, all right, no, to be fair to him, he hasn't proved it at that level, but I think there's a possibility Delap could possibly also be the type of striker that could help a team trying to win the league. So Pedro and Delap, apart from those two, they are very underwhelming, isn't it? Like, if you're a Chelsea fan, you don't really get excited by any of those, really.
Nah, personally for me, do you not rate Esteval?
He looks good because of what he did against us, but I don't know enough about him to. Do you
That's
know what I
fair.
mean? Like, yeah, I can't just watch that one cameo and then be like, yeah, because I don't know. But he looked decent in the game against us, yeah.
And what about Hato? Do you not
Yeah,
rate him,
yeah,
or is
sorry.
it?
I forgot about Heto. I rate Heto. Liverpool should have bought Heto. So, yeah, Heto.
So
But again, he wouldn't excite you, innit? He's a defender. He's a good
yeah.
player and he's a good thing, but it wouldn't excite you. You wouldn't be like, yes, we've signed. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you know what strikes me a lot? Out of all these players, I see goalkeeper, DM, striker, centre back, which has gone back out on loan, a cam, striker, left winger, left back, right winger, left back. I don't see a centre back there who's still at who they bought that's still at the club. Is
yeah.
that a problem? Because we talked about the individual centre backs that some people say they're not good enough. I personally agree with that. I don't think the centre backs personally are good enough. Is that going to bite them back in the backside this season if they're without assigning a properly recognised centre back?
Probably. The thing is, numbers wise, they've got a lot. They're just all injured. But if I'm not mistaken, they've got about 5 or 6 centre backs on their books in terms of like numbers.
They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/6 with Achimpong. They've got 5 or 6.
So they would probably have to have let 1 or 2 go to bring them in because you can't just stockpile. Do you get what I mean? But they should have, because the ones they've got, Betty Shield isn't good enough. I don't think Chimpong, what's his name? Not Chimpongo. What's his name? The one they brought back from Crystal Palace.
Oh,
They loaned him.
Chalobah.
Chalobah. I think Chalobah's good, but he's not amazing. So I think he can be upgraded on. Even Colwell, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Colwell, like that hype from a couple years ago about Colwell in it, like he's not
Mm.
that guy. He's not that guy that we thought was gonna be like the next big thing. He's good, but
Yeah,
yeah, bro, they need to go and get a proper established, proper senior. Fafana could have been that guy, but them two injuries have really taken his career back a couple
yeah,
of notches. Yeah, they do. They need to have a proper. They need their version um of Virgil or Saliba or Gabriel
mm.
or Romero or dare I even say it, like even like someone like Dan Burn at Newcastle, like that leader, experienced, big, strong. Do you know what I mean? Like they need a version. They need one of those players themselves in their defense.
Do you know what they could have done with Drift? I don't think the age thing would have been a thing, but obviously someone like Leone would have been really good for them. Fits their
Oh yeah.
profile, their centre back stature and style that he has. It would have fit him perfectly. But obviously, with what happened with him in the ACL, thankfully that we ended up getting him in the end. But someone like him would have been good. And obviously, you look at their goalkeepers as well, like Robert Sanchez, Philip Jorgensen, and Slonina, who I've never heard of before. Yeah, that's not a Champions League goalkeeping set,
Bro,
is
it's
it?
making me more angry we didn't score more goals past them. Just hearing who's in goal and defense. Like that's even more showing you that we beat ourselves
Hmm. Right.
rather than Chelsea beat us. Listen to how bad that defense and goalkeeper situation is. My days. I can't believe we didn't win that game, man.
It is what it is, man. Like Robert Robert Sanchez, like he's not a Champions League level goalkeeper. Neither is Philip Jorgensen. They both like to flap. You know what? They could have done with our goalkeeper that played against them. He fits their profile as well. Young, tall, athletic,
That was why it
command
was
in
good
his
that we
area.
bought him. Because if you think about it, Newcastle, Man United, and Chelsea all needed a goalkeeper this summer. So if we hadn't bought Dashvili last year, he probably would have ended up at one of those clubs.
Yeah, that's true. But knowing Man United, they probably would have made him go backwards again, given the
Yeah.
last
Oh no, Man United would
2023.
have been the worst place. Newcastle are the only team with a structure in place that
Mm.
I think you go there and you won't really struggle because there's other stupidness happening at the club, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Absolutely. I want to quickly get to these comments right here. Big up Sammy, obviously
Big up,
come
Sam.
seeing us a lot on Drifty TV. Subscribe to Drifty TV if you haven't already. Big up to yourself, my brothers. What's good? Good to see Ram live. Look, it's gonna be a consistent thing, man. It's gonna be consistent. So there'll be more of this coming up soon, bro. Football Gospel here saying them man have 7 goalkeepers in their books. Well, this is the team
Yeah,
that I
they
just
had
got in
to
front of
too.
me. They have got more, but they're out on loan at the moment. So that's the crazy bit, man. They've got 7 and
They've,
they
they- they've got a goalkeeper obsession.
have you
And
heard?
they sold their best one.
Well, Petkovic.
I think he was the better one out of all of them.
Yeah, probably, definitely. He played well against us in the League Cup final, didn't he?
I think the time he had between the sticks at Chelsea, it's really weird. He was dropped for Sanchez. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
I don't, I
But
don't, I don't get
I
it. I
don't know,
didn't get
bro.
it at all.
Where did he go? Is it Burnley? He went
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
And
Yeah,
no
he's a
wonder
good goal.
Bournemouth are doing well.
He's a good goalkeeper, bro. He's not amazing, but like I would put him on a level with like Vicario.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why
I
did
think he's
Chelsea
good.
let him go? I have no idea, bro. I'm so confused.
As am I. It didn't make any sense to me at all. Why Chelsea let Petkovic go? They signed Penders, which for 17 mil, and then send him straight back on loan. Maybe he's not of the quality at the moment, but
Mm.
that's just the names that we played. Like you said, Drift. It's pissing me off the fact that I'm seeing those names and I'm like, bro, why did we not pepper that goalkeeper? Why didn't we do that? It's absolutely ridiculous. Sammy continues to say, "Oh, Colwell came to Trinidad and got injured. Maybe
Too much partying.
too much whining and dining, bro. They need 2020 Thiago. So facts. If they had
I
2020,
was actually thinking this, yeah.
bro, it would have. it would have been such a massive race. Big up everyone that's come from MHF. Big up, big up, big up Kingsman. Big up Vinci. Sammy here saying France #1 Mike is good. Everyone I watch him in international break. Oh, he's talking about Mike Mannion. Big up OK, even though you're a City fan. Big up B for Ashes. Sammy every time, like, yeah, he is a quality keeper. But again, I have my reservations about Mannion after seeing him in the AC Milan. And big up LSC Shankly as well, man. Big up for joining
Big up, boys.
the
Big up,
show.
big up.
Now, next part. Obviously, I see a City fan here. Are Manchester City underdogs? Because I've been hearing that a lot recently. Man City aren't going to challenge. They're the third best team. Are they underdogs in your opinion, Drift?
Yeah, they're underdogs based on the. I don't think that they're quite right at the moment, but they should never be underdogs in terms of their investment, their manager, and what they've turned themselves into. It's quite remarkable we're sitting there talking about Man City in this way when apparently Liverpool must, because we bought £400 million worth of talent in the summer, forgetting the fact we had 3 transfer windows prior to that where we spent fuck all. But apparently, because we did it all in one window, we must. You do realize since January, Man City spent the same amount of money as Liverpool. So it might have been a 6-month period to a summer, but they've spent the equivalent amount. And it's a bit weird to me that with the best manager in the world, hands down, they have kind of just gone under the radar. It's weird. But then I watch them and I do think, nah, you don't look like a team that can win the league. You're still a good team. On your day, you're still a team to be scared about in a moment. But 100. You don't look like over 38 games you can consistently win enough games to win the league.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I think Man City are going to slip up a few times, and that's what's going to mess them up. I think they're going to have a few slip-ups along the way. And if I'm being honest with you, it will all be about keeping Haaland fit, because without Haaland, Mamouche is the only other player who's ever got double figures, really. And, like, that's a lot to ask of him to take up the mantle of Haaland. So there's a big emphasis on keeping Haaland fit.
I'm a bit worried about Mamouche. People look at me sideways being like, why of all players you're worried about is Mamouche? This direct way of playing football, the best player that will thrive on that is someone like Mamouche. The pace that he has, the direct ability that he has as well, his finishing ability as well. That's the kind of style that he thrives upon, man.
Mamouche is a very good player.
Oh, he is. He is a very, very good player. Like, but a lot of people are agreeing with you, Drift, as in, like, people are saying Haaland is a beast at the moment. We are now Haaland FC, as OK is saying. Speaking on Haaland, is he the greatest goal scorer that we've seen in Europe for a very long time?
This conversation will make Sammy happy because he believes he is. Do you know what it is? It's crazy. When I watch Haaland, I don't see what I want. But he's so effective, it's hard to argue.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And again, I know that might sound a bit stupid, but, like, when I look at my striker, I want my striker to look good playing football.
Yeah, exactly.
And then goals be it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, when I think over time about strikers that Liverpool have had that were of that elite caliber, you look at Suarez, Sturridge, Robbie Fowler, Torres, Owen, all of those players. They were good footballers and they were good goal scorers. So I enjoyed watching them. I don't enjoy watching Haaland because he's not good on the eye, but he's so effective that there's an argument that he's better than everyone I just mentioned in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. And I just mentioned some GOATs. So if Haaland can be put in a conversation with GOATs like Fowler and Owen and things like that, it's hard to argue. Do you know what I mean? He probably will. I think at the moment, the only striker I'll say that's better than him in the world right now is Kane.
Okay.
I think Harry Kane is just on. I think Kane's on a planet on his own at the moment, and I'm so happy for him that he's proving that he is that guy. But other than Kane, there's no one better than Haaland right now. Like, there just isn't.
You know about the stat, right? That Harry Kane is the fastest player to get 100 goals for a club. His first 100 goals for a club.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro,
Was
he's
that?
got 17 goals in 10 games this season.
Yeah.
We're only 10 games into the season and Kane's got 17 goals. Are you taking the mick, bro?
By the way, this is meant to be over the hill, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry,
Can't
that's
run anymore, Harry Kane. Still banging him in the Champions League, by the way.
right. He's
Crazy.
crazy. But on
Crazy.
Haaland, the stats don't lie, does it? The stat, how was
No.
it? The consistently, ever
Oh, yeah,
since.
so I forgot about Mbappe. Sammy's always got to make sure that we we don't forget Real Madrid. I hear you, bro. I hear you.
He's doing, yeah. Well, I told you, to be fair, Mbappe is doing quite well for Madrid at this moment. But I'm looking through Haaland's stats, right? In 1920, that's like his first half season, 22 games, 28 goals. Then he moved to Dortmund halfway through, 18 games, 16 goals. The season after that, 41 games, 41 goals. Season after that, when he had an injury, 30 games, 29 goals. The Premier League, first season, 53 goals, 53 games, 52 goals. The season after that, 38 goals in 45 games. 34 goals in 48 games the season after that. This season, in 9 games, he scored 12 goals. I mean, those numbers are stupid. They're
Yeah.
just ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, that is absolutely stupid. And that's the reason why Sammy believes that if he continues to play until he's about 36, 37, he will trance Messi and Ronaldo's goal scoring. Because
Exactly.
at his age now, what's Haaland, 22?
Currently now, Haaland is 25. So he's getting to his
Right,
peak.
he's older than I thought he was, actually. I
But
thought
he's
he was
been
a bit
around
younger.
for a long time, isn't
I
he?
thought he was younger than that.
Yeah.
So that means if he played football for another 10 years at that scoring rate, he'd have another 500 goals because he's averaging around 50 goals a season, right?
Well, if you go through like his stats, it would probably be around about 600 and something.
600 goals, you reckon, in the next 10 years?
So in 710 games, he would get around about 682 goals if you go off this record now.
Fucking hell. That's insane, isn't it?
Did I mention that he's got 48 goals in 45 games for Norway?
Bloody hell. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, didn't he get like 8 goals the other day past? What's his name?
I think
A little bit of stat padding going on the international front, but yeah, fair play, man. You still got to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, man. He is a freak of nature, man.
Yeah, he's a ridiculous goal scorer, man.
He's built he's got the physicality to match it, but he's also got the mentality and the finishing ability. He's got the whole package combined, and now he's just moving. He's moving like the Terminator right now, just finishing everything that he sees, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, you know what will be interesting? It'll be interesting to see if OK knows where I'm coming from when I say this. When he first came into England, he was quite injury prone. I think one of the things that stopped him from being injury prone at Man City is that Guardiola's implemented a system where he does very little running. Now, all of a sudden, he's defending, tracking back, getting involved. If I was a Man City fan, I would be worried that you're going to injure him doing that because he's going to be doing way more like how he used to before. Because when he was in Germany, he used to do a lot more tracking back and all that stuff. And he used to get injured a lot. So I'd just be a little concerned if I was a City fan in terms of like, are we going to run him into the ground again? Because I think Guardiola did a very good job for the last few years of playing him only in ways needed where he didn't do much running, didn't get many touches of the ball, but still got the killer instinct and still was scoring the goals. Do you know what I mean? If you start getting him running back and doing all this and all that, then you might run him into the ground a bit. So I'll be quite interested.
It'll be similar to what Michael Owen had for us because Owen used to run the channels all the time. Like every time he had the opportunity, he would just be running down the channels or be dribbling with the ball, wouldn't he? And that's why maybe his legs sort of gave way after a while because all that running just caught up with him. I
think Owen said the number one key to why his career was the way it was is back when he pulled his hamstring, they didn't do surgeries, they let them heal naturally. And because it was a natural heal, the tear was so bad that it was never ever going to be okay ever again. And I think he said himself, if he'd have got that injury 15 years later, when the technology and everything was how it is now, he said he would have had surgery on that hamstring and his career would have been okay. So I
Exactly.
think he was like a little bit of it was just a horrible time in terms of medical advances and stuff where,
Mm.
now you look at R9, for example, R9 spent 2.5 to 3 years on the injury table for the same injury that most players come back from now in about 9 months.
Yeah.
So you get what I mean? Like that just goes to
Mm.
show you like how much more medical advances are now than they were back in like the 90s and all that. So yeah, I think, but you're right. We did run Owen into the ground though. We definitely did.
One player we haven't talked about, who's actually done quite well is Doku. Jeremy Doku, and a lot of it because of the transition play that we talked about, like Mamouche and Haaland. Doku's done very, very well for the start of the season. How do you think this transition style of play has allowed Pep to maximize on certain players like Haaland and Doku, and to an extent Foden at the start of the season?
Possibly. I'll be honest. I haven't paid enough attention to Man City to really know what's going on over there.
Yeah,
but possibly. I mean, do you think Linders has actually had an impact? Because I'm trying to think whether Linders is there to make up the numbers or if Pep's actually listening to what he's got to say. I'm very intrigued. And I'm not gonna lie, I'll be very intrigued.
Drifty, I would say I haven't seen Pep play this style of football in my life. I haven't seen it.
Neither have I.
Barcelona, even Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich will probably have been the perfect team to do it with. Never played it. Stuck by his laurels. I think, remember, Pep came from Klopp. Klopp was all about counter pressing, suffocating teams. Obviously, City don't suffocate the same way that we do, but the style of play of winning the ball back and being quick and direct as soon as we get the ball, that's not Pep. Pep is all about structure, keeping the ball, playing with the opponent, making them move.
But you
out
actually
of position.
think he is listening to Linders? Then do you think he's actually listening to?
I think there's some of Linda's ideas has seeped into Pep, and Pep is starting to use them now. And we're seeing certain players that are fit for that playing like the way they are.
Yeah. No, it could be true. It could be true.
Telling you. Obviously, Sammy talking about Mbappe as well, being like he does play that position, but
playing striker. Yeah. Do you know what though? The funny thing is, Mbappe might be a brilliant player, but I'm never going to be able to see him as a striker. He's going to be a left winger in my mind for the rest of my life. So like, I know he plays up front, but I just always think of Mbappe as a left winger. So it's a bit of a weird one.
Well, Football Gospel's logic here is if we see Lewandowski, Kane, and Cristiano show strikers that get him better from 30-year-old onwards, the numbers will be ridiculous. Well, if you go by that logic, if he continues this until 10 years, we're looking at seriously big numbers.
Yeah, man.
We're talking.
The only thing that they have on him, which is why it is different. And again, this isn't me being shady to Haaland. Everyone else that you just named there is actually a brilliant technician of a footballer. And when they got older and lost their pace, they changed their game. And you can only change your game when you're a technician. I'll be honest, if you take away the pace and power of Haaland, he would not be good. Like, we got to be honest, because he doesn't have like great control and great touch and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think his pace and his power and his finishing are what are his assets. If you take away the pace and power, which will obviously go as he gets old, then he'll have to start doing a lot more. First touch has got to be perfect because he's not going to have, you know what I mean? Like Lewandowski, Kane, these man, impeccable first touch. Bang.
What about Cristiano, though?
Got that? I don't.
What about Cristiano, though?
No, but Cristiano's got a great first touch. Yeah, definitely.
No, as in like you're talking about the link-up play and everything. Obviously, technical ability. Would you say Cristiano's about PMP, or is it like he is a blend of
No, but Cristiano's a technician though. So that's what I mean. So he was still able to have like good first touch, get it at your feet, bang, snatch. Do you know what I mean? Where he didn't need to he didn't necessarily have to have the pace to be able to still do that
Mm.
side of the game. And I could be wrong, but for me, Haaland don't have that great first touch and that impeccable skill on the ball where you'll be like, yeah, if you take away his pace and power, I still think he would be good. It'll be like, no, then he would literally just be a goal hanger.
Yeah, well, that's a
Do you
fair
get what I
point.
mean? So, like,
Yeah.
it would be quite interesting to see if in 10 years' time, if football's in a position where you can just be a goal hanger. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know.
Sammy makes a point here. Even the great Henri wasn't the same without his pace. Like,
yeah.
he
By the time
wasn't.
Henri was 32, he was a shadow of himself. A lot of people forget that.
Man, that's a fact. That's true.
But he did still have the technical ability, Henri, though, innit? Like,
Mm.
of course, his technique was impeccable. So,
Would you say, well, top three movement off the ball I've seen is Cristiano, Cavani, and Haaland. Would you say his attacking awareness can get him to that level because he's always in the right position at the right time?
yeah, maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe.
What about this? Would you say he's better than Lewandowski, but not better than Ronaldo or R9?
No, I have to disagree. I think Lewandowski is an absolute, like, what we're doing right now is we're thinking about a Lewandowski who's 38 years old and putting him in a conversation with a 25-year-old. Lewandowski in his prime is one of the best things I've ever seen. I do think a lot of people forget this is an old, and look at Lewandowski's numbers at this age. I swear, if I'm not mistaken, ain't Lewandowski still pulling up stupid numbers at 38 years old?
What, 42 goals in 52 games?
That's ridiculous for a 37-year-old, bro. Think about it. Last season he was 37 and he got, say that number again.
42 goals in 52 games.
That's insane, bro. He was 37 last season and he got that. That's crazy. Lewandowski is an absolute anomaly.
Yeah.
He's an anomaly. And I rate Haaland. Haaland is a beast of a striker. But Lewandowski goes down as one of the greatest to ever do it.
The treble winning season, he scored 55 goals in 47 games. Season after that, 48 goals, 40 games. Season after that, 50 goals, 46 games. The only downside he had was probably the season before in 23-24 when he scored 26 goals in 49 games. That was a pretty under par season. I would say poor season because some players would wish to have a goal record like that.
I was going to say, bro, there's strikers who will give their left arm for 26 goals every season, bro.
Yeah. Also, like, technical ability.
Lewandowski is just, he's a GOAT. Lewandowski's one of the GOATs. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's one of the GOATs. Exactly. When football's all said and done, Lewandowski from this generation will get spoken about like how we speak about people like Batistuta and, like all of those like great old school strikers. Lewandowski's in that mode. Like he's on another level, man.
Absolutely, man. I 100% agree with that. I think it's always been the big three with me. It's always been Harry Kane, Lewandowski, and Benzema. Those were the big three.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, Ronaldo would have had to. Ronaldo, Messi would have been in that conversation because obviously.
But they're somebody. They're somewhere else. They're not from this planet, bro. They're
Messi, Cristiano is. I'm never putting Cristiano in that bracket, bro. Messi's not of this planet, bro.
By the by, Drift. I still think Cristiano. So some of the numbers he did was a bit stupid as well. I forgot Luis Suarez. Actually, to be fair, it used to be the top three with Benzema, Lewandowski, and Suarez. That was always the big three because Kane was just was like a generation after that. He was a bit, I'll say he's a bit in the middle of that generation and this generation. But yeah, the number nines of this era is bro.
No, Suarez is the best number 9 of his generation. That's a fact.
100%.
But Lewandowski is right up there with him. But yeah, I think Suarez can actually go and sit at the table with Zidane and all them, man.
Exactly. Moving on. Akil says, big up for joining the stream. You didn't pepper us because we pressed the shit out of you and controlled the ball well. We are capable of that if you see us last year. Which moves us on.
Who does he support?
Chelsea. I'm guessing it's Chelsea, right? This moves us on to Liverpool in crisis. I use that title quite, I won't say quite loosely, but it sounds as though we are in a crisis, though, Drift, from what a lot of people are saying. Like, manager doesn't know what he's doing, players aren't performing, things aren't working well. New signings are currently flopping at the moment. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start off with the manager, or do you want to start off with the players?
I don't even want to talk about these bums right now, but all jokes aside, I would probably say Liverpool's issue is a combination of a bunch of different things, and it's quite difficult to put your finger on just one thing, because I don't think there is just one thing. I've been trying to think about this. Even though I don't want to think about Liverpool, I've been trying to think like what really is going on. I think our fullback situation is just terrible. I think we massively misprofiled. I know it sounds like silly because we were so happy about the signings during the summer, but I think we were getting caught up in who they are in terms of their reputation. Kirkes was left back of the year last year. We know Frimpong is a brilliant player going forward, especially, and was one of the best Bundesliga players. So we were just going on reputation, I think, when we were getting happy, rather than thinking about exactly how they were going to be used at Liverpool. Now we see that we're not using marauding fullbacks, which is what I thought will be the plan. If you're going to buy those two players, then you should be playing marauding fullbacks, right? The fact that we're not playing marauding fullbacks, to me, bro, suggests that either Slot's changed his mind at the last minute, which would be a stupid idea, or our recruitment got it wrong and we completely misprofiled the players that we bought. Either way, I think fullback is massively becoming an issue at Liverpool. And you know, one of the main reasons why I think fullback is definitely becoming an issue, because there's no connection with the fullback and the wingers either. If you go back through Liverpool's last 10 years, we've had some of the best relationships you've ever seen in your life. Now, I know it's not fair to compare, but I have evidence to know what is needed for it to work. When you look at the way Mo and Trent linked up, and you go and look at the way Robbo and Mane linked up, we were impeccable in the wide areas under Klopp. Impeccable. And it was because we had four players who were all world class, but they had relationships. Even between each flank, Robbo and Trent would pass to each other. Mane and Mo would pass to each other. So it wasn't even just about the channel. It was also about, switching play and whatnot. And now I look at it, bro. There is absolutely no cohesion between Robbo and Gakpo or Kirkes and Gakpo. There's absolutely no cohesion between between Salah and Bradley, or Salah and Frimpong. No relationship whatsoever. Fullbacks are a massive issue at Liverpool, bro. A massive issue. And I also believe it's one of the reasons why we're getting caught on transition a lot as well, because it seems to be the fullbacks who play people on side a lot. So I just think our fullback area is a huge problem. Midfield is another huge problem. Why is Slot given permission to go forward? I do not know. He needs to change that, and he needs to stop that immediately. When you go and look at that goal Caicedo scored past us in the Stamford Bridge game, the only reason why he's allowed to do that is because he had nobody marking him. Gravenberch had pushed up, and McAllister had the other player that was in midfield. I can't remember which one of them it was, but he was like, he had one eye on the other one, and then by the time he realizes Caicedo's free, it's too late. Midfield is a huge issue. If you're going to play a pivot, one of those players should have no instruction to go forward. At least one. I actually prefer a pivot where neither player goes forward. You know what I mean? Maybe one of the players can advance to maybe the edge of the center circle in terms of like the opposition half. But like, I don't want anyone in my pivot being on the edge of the opposition's box, for an example. Like, I think you're too far up. Go and look at the goal Bournemouth scored, the counter-attack. All of our DMs were too far forward. They scored that counter-attack. You go and look at the goal against Chelsea. And these are just a few examples. I could probably go through every game and show you examples where our midfield is too high, giving too much space to the opposition midfield, and it's costing us. Even if the team don't score, it will be another like, whoa, scary moment, or like a head in hand moment. So midfield and then on top of that, McAllister's not even playing well. So you've got the midfield structurally isn't good, and then you've got McAllister not even playing well on top of that. And then obviously you've got the obvious situation where the front players haven't connected yet. None of them have any rhythm, know how to play together. And yes, it's not an excuse. We can't use it as an excuse, but I think it is the reason why we don't look good going forward. Nobody knows where anybody should be. Everybody's being very individualistic. Like when was, apart from the first 20 minutes against Atletico when Wirtz and Isak looked like, oh shit, here we go. Have you actually seen any relationship between any of our front players? Because I don't remember any patterns of play or any real, like what you would call a partnership where like it seems like players know where the other one will be and they trust each other. And I'm just seeing Gakpo cutting aside and shooting, Mo cutting inside and shooting, Isak barely touching the ball, Wirtz creating but no real clear opportunities. But he does seem to be creating more than maybe we're paying attention to. But again, no one's even finishing the chances he's creating. Ekitike, even though he's playing really well, I still don't look at him and go, yeah, he's got a relationship with this player. You can see this is, I just think it's still individual moments of brilliance. I don't look at our front line and think in any way, shape, or form, any of those players are connecting in any way and look like, do you know what I mean? Like they look like they've played together. And I think that's really worrying, bro, because it don't look like we have any relationships anywhere on the field apart from a centre-back and goalkeeper. So,
yeah, possibly. What I will say, you saw glimpses at the start of the season, Ekitike and Gakpo. There was a couple of link-up play that they did. I know a couple of Ekitike's goal came from Gakpo's assist, so to speak. But I'm with you 100%. What I will say, you went from top to bottom of what is going wrong. Does that mean that the manager's got this entire system completely wrong?
yeah, it does. But
So
you know
would
the
you,
reason I can't be angry at him, even though he has got it wrong, is 7 games isn't long enough to tell him change it. It's not working in terms of after 7 games. I don't think anything is ever implemented to the point where you get great at it. But what we don't have is the time for it to get great. That's the problem. We're not 2015 Liverpool anymore, where we can give him the time because we're not meant to win the league and we're not contenders and all that stuff. We ain't got time like that. We're defending champions. And that is why I've got a bit of an issue with what Slot's doing. So I understand why he's sticking with it, but I don't like it and I don't want him to. I'd rather it failed than it worked, but we've got to go through some more pain before it works. Because we ain't got time to drop more points.
nah,
we just don't have time to drop more points.
But what I will say, because it's a massive step, it's a massive difference from last season. Last season it was a lot more structured. You saw Gravenberch sometimes dropping into the centre backs. Obviously, the right back and the fullback. Sorry, our fullbacks will be pushing up. Our players were open enough to happy to play the ball to feet, controlled possession, and play a very controlled way of playing football. But this season, I will also say last season we were able to play direct at the same time. What were our best assets were we can do the possession thing, but we can also play quick, intense football, which the team has been used to for about was it 2-3 years under Klopp? Like
there's no intensity left in our game at all.
The press, because there's videos that's come out of Isak, as Matt likes to call it, storage pressing. Would you say our press is a major issue as well? Because a lot of our attacks under Klopp and also at times under Slot were we press from the front and we pin teams back.
Yeah. Bob, I'll be honest with you. No one in our front four is any good at pressing. It's a massive issue. It is a massive issue. You know what I mean? And like I'm good at the cost of sounding like a hypocrite because I wanted him to sign a new deal and I love him. Do you know what's a very uncomfortable conversation for Liverpool right now? I actually think Mo Salah is the biggest issue at Liverpool.
Hello.
It's a very uncomfortable conversation, but I tell you why. You can't have a player that can't press, hit bad form, and then not score goals when he gets opportunities. It's not allowed. The only reason why you're allowed to not press and not trap back and not do any of that is because you're bagging goals, bagging braces, winning games. You know what's crazy? If you go back at all the games that we played so far, you know, in most of the games, Mo's had the opportunity to get the winning goal and he's absolutely fluffed it. If you're not going to press and you're not going to trap back, you can't also be shit. So unfortunately, in his current form, Mo Salah is a huge problem at Liverpool.
But who would you replace him with?
Chiesa.
Because we okay, now this is
Chiesa
an
will press,
interesting.
Chiesa
That's
will trap
interesting.
back, and Chiesa can score goals.
So I was gonna say this on your point about pressing. There's only one player in our team that is actually happy to press and able to press at a high intensity, but he doesn't see pitch
Yeah.
because Isak don't press. Gakpo certainly doesn't press, like you said. Salah is at that age where he can't press.
I think Gakpo presses, but he's not good at it. Does that make sense? Like, he'll make the effort, but he doesn't cut the angles. He doesn't create traps. He just chases the ball like Sunday League players do. You know, like if you told Sunday League players to press, they would just think it's about running straight up to the player. It's like, no, come at an angle, set a trap. You know what I mean? Like cut off, like, yeah, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We just don't have anybody in our team who can do it apart from Chiesa.
So how would you fit Chiesa in? Because Chiesa for me is not a right winger. He doesn't look comfortable on the right wing. He looks better on the left. Would it be a system change if that's the case?
Well, if you want to play the same system, I would just be willing to let a player of that quality. Because remember, Chiesa's played right wing more than he's played anywhere else in his career. So he's still good at it. Even if you think he might be more comfortable down the left, he's still good enough to do it on the right. My front three right now, bro, would literally just be based on talent and form more so than what seems to fit right. And I know people will hate me for saying this, but against Man United, my front three would actually be Chiesa on the right, Ekitike on the left, and Isak up front. And I would actually drop Gakpo and Salah. I think Gakpo and Salah have been a major reason why we don't look good. Going forward anyway.
So would you play, how about this? Would you play a 4-1-2-1-2? Sorry, a 4-4-2, a diamond, sorry.
The only reason I don't like the diamond is because I don't like the fact that you lose width with a diamond and both of our fullbacks aren't playing well. Do you get what I mean? Like, the thing is, stylistically, Frimpong and Kirkes actually suit a diamond. They're marauding fullbacks. That is actually where you get the best out of marauding fullbacks if you play a diamond, because it will be their responsibility to create the width. But neither of them are in form, and that would worry me, because if you're not going to get the width from the fullbacks and then you're narrow like that, I don't know, bro. We play low blocks all the time.
Exactly,
How'd you break down a low block with a diamond?
You can't. Well, you can. You have to play a lot of scintillating football. You have to play very free.
Like Florian would have to be like Leverkusen Florian. Do you know what I mean? And Isak would have to go back to Newcastle Isak. And yeah, I don't know, man.
I will say, if you do want to play two up top, I've been seeing a lot of people say this. They play Ekitike and Isak. I don't think that works.
I think they could work in the two if you had a system for it, because I think Ekitike is a good facilitator. But in the way we play, yeah, I don't know how you play them both up front the way we play. It would have to be Ekitike's wide left.
I would probably say it would be Ekitike or Isak next to Chiesa. That's the only way I see it work. Chiesa is the only player that's been able to play as a shadow striker next to a so-called big man in the team. Ekitike has always been the big man when it was with Malmouche. Isak has been the target man / everything's been going to Isak every single time. I don't see anyone else. I don't see anyone else that's able to play that shadow striker that I can think of. I really don't. Onto the people that are in the chat right now. Alessi Shankly saying, why is Slot inverting our fullbacks when they're marauding? Facts.
that there is the worst part of what Slot is doing tactically, trying to
Mm.
use players who aren't even that great on the ball to be midfielders.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, I don't get it, bro.
Neither do I. Neither do I. What I will say, and is Makuma hints on it. Different manager drift. He doesn't know what he is doing. Um, Onslaught.
What about what we're talking about? Slot.
I don't know because I think it must be talking about slot. I mean, it's a point that I wanna I wanna ask you about.
Well,
I've
no,
been
maybe
seeing
he's talking about a player saying he's playing under a different
a
manager.
different
Drift. He doesn't
manager,
know.
but
Yeah,
maybe
he must be talking about a player. Yeah, Makuma, which player are you talking about, bro?
if that's the case. Um, Grav is not a DM. A natural DM never vacates his role. But I think Dutch players that they're known to be very flexible with their positioning. Like Seedorf could do a DM, but he's big
Mm.
and be disciplined. Edgar Davids played it as a box to box, but could also play as a DM. Like
Remember though, Gravenberch told us Slot said he can go forward.
that's the thing. He's shown before he can do the sitting in deep, sitting in front of the centre backs and play the extra centre back if need to. Like we've seen
Mm.
it. I think Gravenberch only plays when he's instructed to play how he plays. You know,
Yeah.
if Gravenberch is told to sit, he will sit. If Gravenberch is told to go forward, he will go forward. He is that kind of player and that technically gifted to do whatever the manager wants him to do and do it at a high level. That's
Mm.
my opinion. You don't. The Dutch way of thinking has always been players can play anywhere on the pitch if they are technically of that level. That's
Yeah.
how I've always seen it for me.
I hear it.
Sammy here saying PSG fullbacks make everyone fullback look so average. At this moment, it does because our fullbacks can barely do what they do. Football Gospel here saying Millie would have slapped Kirkes already, bro. He would have got punched up from the way that he's been playing this season, man. Makuma saying everyone in this team needs a slap, including Slot. Facts. We lost Lucho's ability. Facts. Do you think that's also one thing people are forgetting about? Not only the pressing, but also the ability to drive at players, the ability to take on a player 1v1. Do you think that's also missing as well?
Yeah, we have two wingers who just want to cut inside and shoot rather than going to the byline and crossing or being able to actually run at the fullback and take him on. It's a massive issue. It's a massive issue, bro. And again, in their own right, they're both brilliant players. I think Gakpo is a very good player and Mo Salah is a GOAT. But in the way we're playing, you can't have two of the same. Like but both our wingers are basically the same. They're cut inside and shoot type wingers. And I think one of them has to be a Doku type. I think it's okay to have one player that likes to cut inside and shoot, but then your other winger needs to be a Doku type who takes his man to the byline, can get past the fullback with ease. Do you know what I mean? And we don't have either of that. And I know Rio could possibly be that when he gets a bit older, but you can't ask him to do it now. So,
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? It's definitely a worry for sure.
for sure. Vinci here saying, what do you think about Ryan Ichihara? I haven't seen much of him. I know he's Japanese centre back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know anything
I
about
haven't seen much of him. I'm sorry. But if you know anything about him, please let us know because if there's a centre back that's of the quality, I'll 100% take him in this team, man. I really would. Football Gospel here saying Jota, Nunez, Diaz, all pressing machines. Boy, I do miss Jota. I do miss him. So
no, but he's hit the nail on the head. Those three were very good at
yeah,
pressing. Very
yeah.
good at pressing.
I miss Shota and Diaz and Nunez. Well, I want to say Nunez because Nunez was a love-hate relationship between Nunez. I would love him at times, but also I would hate him at times as well. But Jota and Diaz, especially Jota, I do. I miss them.
You know what? You know what gets slept on a lot? Nunez's passing. Nunez's passing got slept on a lot. If you go and look at some of the chances he created for other players while he was at Liverpool, he had very good passing.
Yeah, it was. As in, like he's got a decent amount of assists for Salah as well. Like I know the season before, the only player to assist Salah the most has been Nunez, and then it was everybody else. I think on everyone else on like one. So you have to say he was good at giving Salah a lot of his goals. Makuma here saying we sold Elliot. Yeah, I think continuity in that sense would have been ideal. Dragon Wolf saying Indicalia Bomber was Salah gone, Elise in. I think not
You
now.
know what? I'll believe that when I see it anyway.
I think no, I'll say this, Drifty. We are very interested in Elise, but I don't think that happens anytime soon. I think probably next season, if it'll ever happen, it will happen next season.
Oh yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
definitely won't be like in January or anything
Oh
like
yeah.
that. Bayern Munich wouldn't even sell him mid-season. No.
Yeah, 100%. I think they'll see what happens with the Champions League, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
Dragon Wolf is saying Ekatike pretends to press. Maybe.
I wouldn't go as far as to say pretend. I just don't think he's good at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what
maybe.
I mean? Like, yeah,
Maybe.
I just don't think he's good at it.
We don't have any dogs in this team. We are too soft. I agree. We don't have a lot of players that have that.
I've always said I hate how nice Liverpool are. We're way too nice.
It's just it's ridiculous how nice we are, especially when it comes to giving penalties. I want to say giving penalties, but not attracting enough attention to referees. I'm not saying diving, but I'm saying if a player kicks you, just fall to the ground, please. If a player trips you up or kicks you, I beg, just go to ground.
Or do you know what? Start doing what other players do against us. You know that card that Bradley got in the Chelsea game? Do you know he didn't even actually create a tackle? Do you know that he was just running? And I can't remember if it was Garnacho or who it was, but they literally just put their leg in front of him. So he ran into it and then threw himself on the ground, writhing around in fake agony. Bradley didn't even actually stick his leg out. Like, he didn't even attempt a tackle. He just ran and the player just... We've got to have some players doing that shithousery then. If everyone else is going to do it, then I don't want my players being all nicey. I want our players to start doing some shithousery. Fight fire with fire. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we always trying to be the nice guy?
Yeah, true.
Sick of that shit,
man. But team in North London loves to do the dark arts thing, and it gets them the wins at this moment.
Wasting time, all sorts.
Yeah. Slot needs Alana in his technical bench to teach this lot how to press trigger. Maybe.
Alana was very impressive.
Oh, he was. Klopp loved him. Klopp loved him purely for that. And also technical ability as well. Chiesa played right against Southampton. Yeah, he did, but I will say he looked a lot more comfortable on that left-hand side. And
Chiesa can play both wings, man. He can play both wings.
He can. Sammy here saying Salah's record against United is legendary. It is.
Yeah, that was because I said drop him against United. Yeah. I get it, but he's never been in this bad a form, Sammy. I've never. Although, you know what? He just got 2 goals today for Egypt. Maybe that might give him a bit of confidence.
Maybe. I will say in that Chelsea game when he missed when it was the second time. No, when he played Isak in and he didn't play Isak in and he cut inside and shot it to Rosette. I would have, if that was me as a manager, I would have taken him off straight away.
You know, Salah could have had a hat trick in the Chelsea game, and that's not an exaggeration.
He could have had
a brace of assists.
Oh, he could have had a hat trick. He could have had hat trick assists if he just looked up.
Yeah, he's just so off it.
I think he's also trying. He knows he's in bad form and he wants to get out of it soon. That's why he's trying hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nobody's being affected more by playing shit than Mo. I know how much it bothers Mo. He's not playing well. So
Sammy here saying, hate football without width. That diamond won't work unless you have Dani Alves and Marcelo type players. So basically the best of the best technically. Yeah,
but it's
maybe.
true. You need skillful, marauding, pacey fullbacks. It's true. You do.
Yeah. I want to say our players are skillful, but they are powerfully and good runners. They are powerful and good runners.
Yeah. We've got the fullbacks that could play in a diamond, but they're not in good form. So I'd be very worried about how it would work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Football Gospel here saying Chiesa with either Isak or Ekatike, so he's on the same wavelength I am. Frimpong right, Chiesa left. Would you like to see that? Right wing Frimpong?
I don't know. Frimpong right, innit? That's the only one that's a bit like... I'm not against it, but at the same time, I'm not like all for it. So it's a bit, yeah.
Then Ekatike, then Wirtz as well. I think probably for left wing or
Mm.
up front, and then Ekitike up front, and then Verts in the cam. Makuma saying Slot looks lost. We had strikers that made runs to create space. Now we have strikers that need the ball. Nunes had a lot of assists. He was quick to pass as well. Like, yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
We have so many players that are very good at receiving the ball to feet and having a shot on goal, but we don't have a Firmino, man. We don't have we don't have a Firmino that's able to link up play, create space, do the trickery, play make. We just don't have that, man. Off topic, Ram. Can City still win the league with Mamouche Cherki coming back? Of course. Of course. I still think you guys are third favorites. I still think we're the favorites overall because of the quality of players that we have. But City should not be slept upon. They are the third team in the league, and they will give a lot of teams problems. I think after watching what Brentford did, Brentford should have scored. Brentford should have
Yeah.
at least scored one goal. They weren't that great, City.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Igor Thiago had his shooting boots on, it would have been minimum 1-1. But
I tell you how City win the league. If Liverpool's form continues the way it is, and if Arsenal get a few injuries to key players, then City can win the league because they're definitely capable. I just don't think they're as strong as the other two if the other two have got everything going for them, so to speak.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
But if Arsenal lost like Gabriel and Raya or something like that for like a continued amount of time, that's the type of injuries that might be harder for them to like keep up appearances. Do you get what I mean? Like, because I think the defensive structure is where everything is at. So if they all of a sudden had to now play Mascaro on the left of the centre backs and Kepa's in goal, all of a sudden that's not a solid base anymore for Arsenal to be able to have this feeling of, do you know what I mean? And then Arteta might start putting Timber there and start trying to chat, and then you know what I mean, and it might unbalance them a bit, and then maybe City could capitalize on it. But yeah, if Arsenal's in full form and Liverpool play how we should, then I just don't see how City could finish above either of them.
Exactly. A bit similar to what Chelsea did back when it was 21-22 when we're chasing the quad. They were thereabouts at the start of the season, but then just slightly fell off near the end. So I see you guys still going to be thereabouts, but for me it is Arsenal and Liverpool. But you guys, I still won't sleep on you guys. You're still guys are quality. You guys are quality, man. You really are. Big up Jamie in the chat. Big up Jamie. I still need to get onto your show, bro. Message me and we'll sort something out. We'll sort something out. I need Heitinger back. Gio Van Bronckhorst, I am not impressed at the moment. A lot of talk about that. Do you think Van Bronckhorst is also a reason why we've changed our way of playing? Or is it just
I mean, it could possibly be. It could possibly be, but it seems like a little bit too much of a. It just seems like a happy coincidence rather than do you know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily think he's come in and thrown some authority down, and now all of a sudden Slot is listening to. Do you know what I mean? Because you got to remember, even though Heitinger was the coach, Slot was still the one who would implement the tactics.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he would now all of a sudden have Van Bronckhorst and then let Van Bronckhorst be the one who does the tactics. That wouldn't make sense. That would just Van Bronckhorst takes training, but I still think Slot does the tactics. So
yeah,
you know.
Makuma said we can't let Arsenal win, which gets us to our last point of the chat, which is about Arsenal. Drifty, have you been impressed about Arsenal this season? The way they've been playing, the players that they got. What's your thoughts?
No, I haven't. But I have to give them the credit that they're plodding along. They're top of the league. You can't argue with the team who's top of the league. It means they've collected the most points to this point. So how can I say anything other than well done to them for that? But I personally haven't been impressed. I just haven't. But if they keep doing what they're doing, they can win the league because that's just what it is, isn't it? Just quietly going about your business. The only two games when I think they've looked remotely impressive were against Leeds and Nottingham Forest, which, with all due respect, have been cannon fodder this season. So I don't look at it and go, oh, yeah, it's amazing. Because when I look at the games they played when it was against tough opposition, they haven't looked great. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they beat Man United, but they didn't look great. They didn't beat us. They didn't beat City. Um, and then the games they've looked in, Olympiacos, terrible. Nottingham Forest at that time, I mean, even to now, they're still terrible. Like, you know what I mean? And that was Postecoglou's
Apparently,
first game.
Andrew's
Like,
getting sacked.
yeah, well, and Arsenal was the team that they played them in this poor run.
Mm.
And Leeds, maybe it's a bit unfair to say Leeds are cannon fodder, but Leeds ain't great. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's funny, like when Arsenal fans try and say that, yeah, but Gyökeres has got 3 goals so far, so he's not doing that bad. It's like 3 goals in 7 games, and 2 of them came in 1 match isn't good. So that means he's only scored in 2 games out of 7. Like, I thought he was meant to be Glock 10 and all that rubbish. It's like, come on, you know. And again, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just asking questions. If he's only scored in 2 games, then, you know. But then Arsenal fans will tell you, but when he does click, it will be fire, and they might be right. Who knows? But I give Arsenal credit; they're top of the league. I give them credit for the fact that 1 or 2 of their players have settled quite quickly. I think Zubimendi hasn't been amazing, but he seems settled. I think Eze hasn't been amazing, but he seems settled. So credit to that. Maresca, when he's had to play, not Maresca, Mascara.
Yeah.
When he played, again, it's only a handful of games, so there's no way anyone can go, oh, he's amazing. But he did well. So it looks like he's integrated quite quickly. To his credit, I actually think Madueke was probably the best right winger in the league, even though he didn't have the GA to show for it before he got his injury. He's very good. He's playing well. You know what I mean? He looked good. So, like, I give Arsenal credit for, it seems like their players seem to have integrated well, and everything seems to be going well. So I give them credit for that. But when I actually watch them, do I think, oh my God, look how good they are? No. I've watched Arsenal every game this season, apart from the West Ham game, because that's when Liverpool were playing. And it was still what was a penalty and a thing to win that game. So, like, I'm still not looking at it and being like, oh my days, they're so amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, they're plodding along. Cool. But at the same time, like I said, you got to give credit, because sometimes you can win the league plodding along. So I'm still taking them serious.
I hear that. I think what I want to ask you is Arteta has the most pressure out of any manager in the league to win it?
No, because I don't think the board will put that pressure on him. I think the board are in love with Arteta. He could do no wrong. I think, like, honestly, like, they've never invested this much money into a team before. They've never given this much time before. And I know that maybe it's different ownerships, but I just mean Arsenal as an umbrella. Without there being a reason. Wenger only got all those years he got because he was the club. He couldn't have gone all those barren years without trophies, you know what I mean, if it wasn't for the status that he had.
Yeah.
Arteta's had 6 years, bro, with no trophy and heavy investment. But they're in love with him for whatever reason. I don't know. There's no other manager on the planet, I reckon, who would get that much investment and backing without anything to show for it. Like, it's actually remarkable when you actually think about the fact that he doesn't even have previous. We're not even watching an Arteta who was in Spain for 4 years and won 2 league titles before or anything like that. We're looking at a man who in his whole career has won 1 trophy, and it was the first ever season with a team that wasn't his. And here we are, 7 years down the line, 6 years later in terms of his
with a world-class striker.
Yeah, because Aubameyang pretty much was the reason why he won. Aubameyang and Pulisic being injured in the final. That is how Arteta won the FA Cup. And you look at it now and you're like, so he's got no trophies and no experience and nothing behind him. But yet this club just they're in love with him, bro. I don't know what it is. They're in love with him.
Yeah.
So
I hear that.
Maybe they just want to wait until it works so they can go, ha, told you so. But it's like, yeah, but even if he wins the league now, this season, even though you got to give credit for it, bro, I don't think any manager with £1 billion investment in 6 years wouldn't. Does that make sense? Like, I think any manager could go to Arsenal. Any manager. I'm not joking. I think you could even put Sam Allardyce in as Arsenal manager. Give him £1 billion to spend and 6 years of no pressure of his job being at stake, bro. And I think Allardyce will win the league.
Oh, that's where I disagree, Drift. I think you have to give some credit to Arteta. You know, Arteta did. They were in the barrens. They were in the dungeons when he first took over. He did change the culture around. He did change
Were they
their
really in the
fortune.
dungeon though? Because they're in a European final the year before,
Oh,
bro.
bro, they were bad, bro.
No. Let's keep it a buck. Emery didn't have that club looking embarrassing or poor. He had that club in the top four for the whole season until right at the end, and got them to a European final where they lost to the Hazard show. Let's be real, bro. Did he pick? I think that this is what I'm saying about why I think Arsenal fans have to be given credit for being master manipulators, bro. Because they always seem to convince everyone of whatever narrative they want. How were Arsenal in the doldrums when Arteta took over? When they were just in a European final, bro?
Bro, they were playing Lucas Torreira at 10, bro. It was
No,
bad.
maybe Emery wasn't doing the right things for that like 10 games or whatever it was at the beginning of that season, but they weren't in the doldrums. Arsenal were not in the doldrums, bro. Like I
Bro,
don't.
in the same position as
Arteta gave them their lowest ever finish in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken.
Drift. They were in the same position as what Klopp was in when he took over Liverpool, bro.
Their squad was way better, bro. They had Pepe, they had Aubameyang, they had Özil, they had Lacazette. But all of these players I'm naming was 50, 60 or 70 mil, by the way. Do you remember that? Yeah.
I'd agree. They had their team had a world-class player in their team, which was Aubameyang.
They spent money on that team, bro.
I know.
Money on that team, bro.
But you still gotta give credit, man, because that team was rotten to the core. Like,
no, I give him credit, but I'm just saying, I think you could give any competent manager. Maybe not. I'm saying any might make it sound like you can give like a shit manager, but if you give a competent manager, yeah, and you might not like him, but Sam Allardyce is a good manager. Yeah, he's just a bit of a crazy guy. If I said to you right now, I'm gonna give Areola $1 billion in 6 years. I'm gonna give Thomas Frank $1 billion in 6 years. I'm gonna give Glasner $1 billion in 6 years. I'm just naming managers who no one will say. Eddie Howe, I'm gonna give you $1 billion in 6 years. You're telling me they don't win the league? Of course they do, bro. Of course they do. 100% those managers win the league if you give them $1 billion at Arsenal. 100%, bro. I don't even have any doubt that those managers with £1 billion in 6 years of no pressure would win the league. No doubt in my mind, bro.
This is where I disagree. I agree to disagree.
And then I'll flip the script and I'll say, would Arteta get Champions League football 2 out of 3 seasons at Newcastle? Would Arteta be 4th in the league with Bournemouth? Would Arteta have kept Brentford in the Premier League for 5 years?
But that I don't know, Drift. We don't know.
But if Arteta is this great guy, then I've got to compare him to managers who've done those achievements, right?
Maybe I've been sucked into the Arsenal propaganda.
I'm telling you, they're master manipulators, bro. They get everybody to believe their narrative. It's crazy, bro. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. I really don't know how they do it.
It's very good. The only narrative that I will never hear in my life is whether Raya is going to be better than Alisson. I would never ever hear that in my life.
But they're pushing it.
Oh, they will never.
No, bro, they're pushing it, bro. That agenda is fully out there, bro.
No, Drifty, I am telling you, in Europe, even the most sane person even the most biggest Arsenal fan in Europe would even say that, bro. It's always, everyone in Europe knows it's between Alisson and Courtois. No one else. It's Alisson, Courtois, and the rest. There is no Raya. There is no Donnarumma. It's been Alisson and Courtois. It's never been a conversation. I will say that to the day I die.
And do you want to know the other thing that I hate about the narrative that Arsenal fans spun to make Emery look bad? Emery got 1 year and then 10 games. But he only got 1 year at that club, yeah? And in that year, he finished 5th, but was in 4th the whole time and only bottled it at the end because I think like the emotions and the wheels just fell off right at the end. But it weren't like they were all over the place all season. They were top 4 all season and only just finished 5th on the last day. And he got them to a European final and they've never been to another European final since. And that was the first one they've been to for like 10 years. He never got anywhere near enough time. Now, Arteta, on the same hand, finished 8th twice. He finished 8th twice, bro, before he started to turn the club around. How can anybody say that if Emery had the backing and the time Arteta had, he wouldn't have turned Arsenal around? I think it's crazy to say that Emery was a
But
diabolical Arsenal
he
manager.
lost the dressing room drift. That's the thing.
But he lost the dressing room because of the same reason Arteta got rid of all of them. They were bad players, not because he's a bad manager. Is that not the reason why they let Arteta get rid of them all?
But they were the players that he bought in that didn't respect him.
Remember, he wasn't allowed to be in charge of any signings. He was just given players and had to deal with it, remember? It was a lot of Edu doing madness and all these agent agreements. Bro, he was just being given players and told to just use those players, bro.
But it's always different. Like when you lose a dressing room, I always believe the only time you have to actually sack a manager is that the manager's lost the dressing room. And at that point, the players didn't respect him. The players didn't want him there. He had to go, man. He had to go. Whether it was the right appointment to bring in Arteta, I think to steady the ship and everything, yeah. But whether to take him to the promised land is a different story. I still say you have to give credit that he has turned Arsenal's fortunes around. But the only time I will push back, being like, is he of that level, is if he's capable of taking him over that line. We all know how hard it is as a manager to take you from a side that can compete to a side that actually wins trophies. Like Brendan Rodgers was the guy that was competing, but he never won anything for Liverpool. It only took us into.
I will give Arteta credit, bro. I'll give Arteta credit, but like I said, I just think he's done what other managers would have done, and I think other managers would have done more. And again, like I said, I've never seen a manager finish 8th, 5th, and keep his job. And I'm telling you now, if Emery had been given the time, and again, I'm just going off of history as well. Emery has never lost the dressing room anywhere but Arsenal. I think that kind of shows that it was the players being toxic. But again, I'm not going to sit here and back Emery to the hills. I don't care about Emery or whatever. But I've seen what Emery's done at other clubs, and I know if you gave him $1 billion to spend and you actually gave him time, he would have had Arsenal competing.
Maybe, but we probably will never know about it. That's the problem. So here saying Lacazette shin kicking kids in training and choking his brethren, bro.
Is that what he's on now?
Bro, that was you remember the documentary where he was choking out Cedric?
Oh, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. But I can't bring myself to watch an Arsenal.
Bro, it's a season when they didn't get Champions League. I advise you to watch the end of it. It was jokes. It was jokes, bro. But the Arteta PR in that documentary is top notch. I tell you that for a fact.
I'm telling you, bro. They're a PR machine, master manipulators.
Makuma saying, "Give me $1 billion and I would win a trophy, man." Possibly. $1 billion is a lot of money.
I'm telling you, any respectable coach with $1 billion to spend would win a trophy, bro. I'm telling you.
Suga here saying Drifty Unai Emery is a competent manager, but has failed at big clubs because he can't handle the pressure. It's different at the top.
The thing is though, Sugar, he still won the league at PSG. Even though there was the one season he didn't, he still won the league the following season. And everyone saw how toxic PSG was. Ancelotti didn't look good at PSG. Do you get what I mean? Like PSG, but the before this new era is very toxic there. Very toxic there. Like I think it's hard to judge Emery for, you know what I mean? Like that wasn't, you know what I mean? And then Arsenal was crazy toxic when he got there as well.
I will say though, he has got one mark on that PSG job, that remontada in Barcelona.
I know, but that was MSN. That's the greatest front line we've ever seen in our lives. Like sometimes shit happens. Ancelotti let Liverpool come back from 3-0 down and win the Champions League final. Like that can be seen as just as bad.
That's true.
Look how rubbish our Liverpool team was. Apart from about 3 or 4 players, we were a rub. That team shouldn't have been winning no Champions League, bro. Facts. That's why Benitez is such a master at tactics to win the Champions League. But
Stevie, Jamie Carragher, Sammy Hupia, bro. Some of them players did their job to a T, bro.
Yeah,
boy,
it was crazy, bro. Diddy Hamann.
Yeah. Slot is almost half a billion in his reign. Let's see what he can win. Well, he's already won a Premier League, so
He's already, yeah, he's already, he's already won the league. So you never
yeah.
know.
When it comes to Arsenal hate, I back Drift as I am as well. When it comes to Arsenal hate, I'm trolling Arsenal. I am with Drifty 100% of the way. Facts. They say it because Riot's won Golden Gloves the last 2 seasons. Yeah, maybe.
Golden
But
Glove is about the defense as well. It's not just
mm.
about the goalkeeper.
By the way, Allison's got more Golden Gloves than him. So what are we doing here? Can we also mention that as well? Emre brought Saka from the academy. True.
Oh yeah, they've got to give him some
Yeah.
credit for that. Yeah.
He signed Pablo Mari and them lot. He thinks we forgot. No, yeah, he did, but it was also at a different time as well. Like that was also a club thing that they had to sign certain players, which is a bit off. The refs robbed them. Neymar magic, the 6-1, no VAR help as well. Possibly that is also a fair point. But like Drifty said, Emerson is one of the greatest ever assembled front threes in the history of the game. So you can't
Sammy's got
stray
a
away
point,
from
but I
that.
know Sammy hates Barca as well. So you know what I mean. But he
Yeah,
does have a point. Yeah, like the referees were definitely favouring Barcelona. So yeah.
exactly, man. But people, that is the end of the stream. First one back. It's been a good stream. It's been a good chat, Drift. I'm very happy that we've done this. Do you have anything else left to say, bro? Anything at all to the people?
I mean, I know we just spent 2 hours talking about the rivals, but fuck them all, man.
And
All
hopefully
of
not
them.
the first, hopefully not the last time we talk about the rivals.
All of
But
them.
yeah, man, it's all good. What's happening in Coppish this week, man? What we got to tell the people about Coppish, man? And also
Um,
Drifty TV as well.
yeah, you know what? Next week will be a bit more intense. I think for the rest of this week it'll be a little bit quiet. Although I am doing the England game tomorrow on Big Up, so if anyone wants to come and join me
Boom.
for the England game, I will be doing that. But yeah, a little bit quiet. But next week there should be some stuff. So yeah, stay tuned to next week. Almost kind of use this as a bit of a week to take a week off. Obviously not off, but just be a little bit less intense because I'm not gonna lie, this is it's an intense game what we do here. And I think people don't realize just how much energy it takes to be a streamer. So yeah, just taking a few little days here and there from this week to just relax a bit, you know.
It's very emotionally draining.
It
Emotional drainage is true, bro. The
is.
amount, especially having a week like last week, where every time people want to call you out for what you said, when I tell you what you tell you about your club, bro, it's tough, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's long.
tough. I haven't had so many people call me out in a very long time this week compared to any
Yeah.
other time. So yeah, man. But people, I appreciate you jumping in. People that came in from Hassam's and Mo's channel, MHF. We will be back soon. I might do a stream tomorrow just talking about potential transfers. I know there's some menu talk as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Follow me on Twitter, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.
Peace.